Every week, we do a prophecy update because of what's taking place in the Middle East. We believe that we are living in the last days. There are a number of prophecies in the Bible that foretell what it will be like in the last days. And it really doesn't take a rocket scientist to discover, as you look at the news and what is taking place specifically in Israel, that much of what is happening is a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. Today I want to draw your attention to a number of prophecies that all seem to be coming together remarkably and actually even rapidly. It seems that with each passing day, you can virtually put another prophetic piece of the puzzle perfectly in place, just as God said it would be. What I want to do both this week and, Lord willing, next week is look at a couple of these puzzle pieces, if I can call them that. And the first of which is, and this is interesting, the ever-increasing global threat to divide Jerusalem. Zechariah the prophet recorded by the Holy Spirit in chapter 12 an oracle, verses 1 through 6, where it reads, "This is the word of the Lord concerning Israel. The Lord who stretches out the heavens, who lays the foundation of the earth, and who forms the spirit of man within him declares, I'm going to make Jerusalem a cup that sends all surrounding peoples reeling. Judah will be besieged as well as Jerusalem. On that day when all the nations of the earth are gathered against her, I will make Jerusalem an immovable rock for all the nations. All who try to move it will injure themselves. On that day I will strike every horse with panic and its rider with madness, declares the Lord. I will keep a watchful eye over the house of Judah, but I will blind all the horses of the nations. Then the leaders of Judah will say in their hearts, the people of Jerusalem are strong because the Lord Almighty is their God. On that day, I will make the leaders of Judah like a fire pot in a wood pile, like a flaming torch among sheaves. They will consume right and left all the surrounding peoples, but Jerusalem will remain intact in her place." A few verses later in verse 9, he says something that should be very chilling to every single one of us, especially in an election year. Let me explain. The prophet goes on to say, on that day, this is God declaring, on that day, I will set out to destroy all the nations that attack Jerusalem. Let me be clear when I say this. It behooves us to know where the candidates who want to be the president of the United States of America stand with respect to Israel and specifically Jerusalem. Where do they stand with regards to the so-called quote-unquote Palestinians? Do they believe that there should be a Palestinian state living side by side in, quote, peace and security? If so, they should not be the president of the United States of America. God makes it very clear in his word. The land belongs to Israel. The land belongs to his people, the Jewish people. It is not Palestine. It is Israel. God makes it very clear here in Zechariah that any nation, including the nation we call home, the United States of America, that does anything against Jerusalem, like trying to divide it, like trying to take it and make it the capital other than the capital of Israel, will be destroyed. This is important, this could be the very downfall of this great country. In Genesis 12, God says, if you bless my people Israel, I will bless you. If you do not bless, if you curse my people Israel, I will bring a curse on you. I personally believe that the blessing that we have experienced in the United States of America is residual now because we have supported Israel heretofore. We should vote into office a president that will support Israel and not divide Jerusalem. And so I would really encourage you to educate yourself and inform yourself on where the candidates stand with regards to not just Israel, but Jerusalem. You know, it's interesting. Just last Tuesday, Arutz Sheva had an article with the headline reading, President Shimon Peres promotes division of Jerusalem. President Shimon Peres, following Prime Minister Ehud Olmert and Vice Prime Minister Chaim Ramon, has become the latest mainstream politician to intimate that Jerusalem must be divided. Peres said that there must be a separation between the Arabs of Jerusalem and the Jews, and that it must be in the form of a wall. Peres emphasized that the problem is also one of education. No, it's not. He said that Arab doctors are a common sight in Israel, yet Jews are not afraid to go under their knife. This shows, Voice of Israel reported that Peres said, that when we reach a certain level of education, the relations between the two sides change. Listen, the prophet Zechariah, by the Holy Spirit, told us that in the last days they would try to divide Israel and divide Jerusalem as its eternal capital. And it's coming to pass even now, right before our very eyes. Another interesting development, it happened 2 days later, just last Thursday, and it looks like, and this is what I'll call prophetic puzzle piece number 2, a new prime minister in Israel. This was from thestar.com with the headline reading, Embattled Olmert to step down. Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, embroiled in a high-profile corruption investigation, announced yesterday he would resign after his party chooses a new leader in September elections. The televised announcement injected new uncertainty into Israeli politics and Middle East peace efforts, coming just as Olmert has been intensifying talks with the Palestinian Authority and Syria, which fulfills other prophecies as well. The article goes on to say, if Olmert's successor as party leader can form a coalition, Israel could have a new government in October. If not, an election campaign could extend into 2009. Olmert would stay in office until a new prime minister is chosen, heading a caretaker government after he submits his resignation to President Shimon Peres. We're living in an interesting day, interesting times. And it's an interesting year. It's a key year, a very important year. We are going to elect a new president of the United States of America, and it looks like we'll have a new prime minister in Israel as well. Many things can happen in the not too distant future, but I suggest to you that what is happening and will continue to happen in the future will be a continuing fulfillment of these Bible prophecies. We'll look at more of these pieces to the puzzle next week, Lord willing, but suffice it to say that Jesus warned us that we need to, when we see these things begin to come to pass, look up and lift up our heads and know that our redemption draweth nigh. Again, I'll never tire of saying it. There is nothing that has yet to happen prophetically before the rapture of the church of Jesus Christ. And I would just ask you, are you ready here today? He can come at any time, in the twinkling of an eye. There may not be another warning. There may not be another shakeup or even a wake-up call like we had on September 11th in the year 2001. You know, God is not slow in keeping His promise. The Lord is not willing that any should perish. I want the Lord to come soon, but not so soon, because there are many loved ones and even family members that don't yet know the Lord. I'm so glad. You know, I came to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ in 1982. I'm so glad Jesus didn't come back and the rapture didn't happen in 1981. And so too with you. I'm sure many of you are sitting here today going, you know what? Same thing for me. I'm glad the Lord tarried in his return for his church, for his bride.